chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Woohoo! Hello. Welcome. We love it. We're all back together again. And
we're live.
Yes. Welcome everybody to Biz Chat, where we are about the business of launching you. Yes, that's right. I am your coach, Michelle. Over there is Coach Noelle. And down below, we've got our Dr. Darlene Fun China in the house. And every week, we bring you topics that clear the path to your plans, goals, and God-sized dreams. Today is Friday, March 18th. And wow, I hope you had a great Leprechauns Day yesterday. And today we had to talk about some heavy lifting stuff because we have hit a nerve with identity. Identity. Today we're going to talk identity and how knowing it and not knowing it affects your success. We're going to get into the brain science, some therapy, some heart stuff. So stay tuned. First off, though, gosh, ladies, haven't been together in a while. Well, some highs and lows. Let's be honest. We know that entrepreneurship is not always a peachy keen road. It's not always the path that everybody glamorizes. Once you get to the top, it's just limos and ice cream sundaes. But yeah.
Is that what I'm supposed to be doing right now? I did not know that. Okay, good.
Yeah, you're taking a limo to your conference, and there'll be ice cream there waiting for you. Your favorite kinds, every single one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
girls, in the comments, put your highs and lows too. We want to hear them.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, so we'll start with you, Dr. Darlene, since you are you can notice she's got a little different background there. She's at a conference, getting ready to hop in the limo. Yes.
With my Rocky Road ice cream. Yes.
There you go.
In case anyone wants to know and send me buckets of that.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, so highs and lows. How is the entrepreneurial week, personal-wise, business-wise? Anything you want to share to let the ladies know this is real stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So good things. So I launched a new program. I don't do a whole lot of one-on-one programs, but God gave me a really cool download for a new program. So launched that this week. It's been really great. And then coming to this conference at Heaven in Business in Alabama, that's always good. I love making new connections and having the opportunity for that. Along those lines, though, with travel, as you can see in my background by multiple things. Number one, I'm in a hotel room that does not have great lighting. You're going to see my children's faces and probably my puppies behind me. And I ran one of my mastermind programs from a rest stop off of I-10.
Getting it done.
Girl, do it.
So, and my dog now has her chew toy. So, these are things that we have to work around. So I realize now my problem, Coach Michelle, is you said that I am supposed to be in limos. And so this is the whole issue entirely.
Did not catch the entrepreneurial memo. Okay, well, I'll let you mute yourself for a moment and we'll go on to Coach Noelle. Oh, good times.
Okay.
Good times. All right, Coach Noelle, highs and lows. Has it been a good week? A little bit of a challenging week?
It's been a great week. And I guess my high is I started with a new coach for myself. Started yesterday. Yeah. And I am having the mix of, I should say that God made it very clear that this was who he wanted me to work with right now. And part of the confirmation of that is that my husband's the cool head. I'm like, ooh, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. And my husband is like, let's ask some questions. Let's think this through. And so my husband and I have to agree. That's kind of our boundary now. And so I told him about this a few weeks ago and told him, some of the items and what the process would be. And he was like, yeah, I have a real piece about this. And I said, well, what's the logic? What's your thinking? He said, I have none. I just know you're supposed to do this. Yeah. So it was crazy. So I started that, and the, I don't know if it's a low, but a little nerves around that, like oh, it's an investment, like wanting that investment to come through. So that, and then I'm not sure I am clear enough to describe it on the air, but I have had a huge spiritual epiphany this week and this morning. Some of the lows were some emotional triggers where I actually, people say they have a hard time picturing this. I can rage, girls. Like, rage was a big part of my past. And it takes a while to get there, but when I blow hard. And I was experiencing some of that anger this week and asked God, okay, this is not the situation. This is me, right? The situation doesn't warrant this. I talked about that a little bit in Atmosphere of Grace and during the challenge, what a trigger is. And this morning I got clear on what the trigger is, why it's there. Like, I feel like it was so huge for my launch and my release. I just kind of feel like I'm like floating on a cloud right now.
Woohoo! Yeah,
Yeah.
if you missed Coach Noel's live in Atmosphere of Grace, go in before we pull it down. It'll be in there until the end of the month. So if you're not in the Atmosphere of Grace, please get an Atmosphere of Grace, because we are breaking off things that hold you back from launching your God-sized dreams into the marketplace and ministry. We have seen over and over through each one of the three of us coaching people that we have to clear the path first. We can't just launch into something without the skill sets, of course, but also without getting free of some mindsets, some limiting beliefs, and some boundary issues, which come from our identity. And so Coach Noel came yesterday, or was it Wednesday? And it's like those cartoons when you see like somebody talking and the wind is blowing their hair because it's just coming so fast. Ooh, it was fire. So that will be up through the end of the month. We do a topic of the month over there, and it was identity this month. And so Coach Natalie Benson was in, as well as Coach Noel. And then we finished with a workshop that was, wow, fire as well. So you can grab any of that through the end of the month by hopping into Atmosphere of Grace. And thank you, Coach Noel, for what you brought. I know you were really listening into the Lord about what you were supposed to do. And that came across. That was pretty fire.
Good. I'm glad. It actually started with Dr. Darlene's interview earlier this month, some of the pieces. And then, so God's doing some pretty, I feel like a piece of me clicked into place. Like, God gave me a core part of my message that I was almost there, but I wasn't quite there. There was like a little, So.
Yeah, we felt it. That was click. That did click.
Yay. What about you, Michelle?
It's been a great week. Like I said, we did over an Atmosphere of Grace. It was just so to see women get that freedom of knowing their identity, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So just I love seeing women get free and get their path clear so that they can run after their dreams. I'm tired of, and Coach Noel, we were talking off stage, we are so tired of the enemy coming after people. We are so tired of the enemy having his way. And like, I'm tired of having a conversation with the enemy in you, like the enemy who's talking through you. I want you to just have your identity talking to me, not all of this head trash talking to me. Right. So this month was really exciting. I think, like you said too, just feeling like click, like this is what we're meant to do. And getting some business stuff in line right now. I just got to give a shout out to Coach Kat. She's been my right hand man. Yay. Getting some of those logistical things in place. Guys, we are getting ready to run hard after serving women and getting everyone we can serve just free from all of the garbage that we've been held back by too. It's not like we're coming from a pedestal by any chance.
And Kat's gonna keep us straight.
Kat's got it going on. So just personally, we've got some just beautiful things happening. We started with a new financial advisor, so that's always fun to poke and get those things in alignment. But it's like you were saying, for your coaching, for us, we've just felt like, I don't see my husband tear up very often. And when a financial advisor can get your husband to like tear up about his dreams, like that was pretty cool. Oh, don't tell anybody. Okay. So anyway, good
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, good stuff happening. Just feeling that attraction, excuse me, coming on. Yeah. So, yeah, good stuff, but always challenges too. My husband's, I can hear him right now trying to fix the car. And so if you hear a big brum, that is our muffler situation. I'm grateful he's handy too.
Yeah.
Right now I sound like I drive a street rod down the car or down the road. So yes, that's always fun to put money into that too. Okay, so ladies, let's dive in. I know that women are here because they want to hear about what's going on. We're going to tap into Dr. Darlene's expertise here a little bit, but we know if you don't step up to the platform that is you, if you don't take that stand to own your throne, everything in life is going to feel like a hard stop or a challenge or a grind. The favor and the grace comes when you step into your identity. And if you don't know your identity, we've got all sorts of tools to help you walk that out, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what happens when you don't know it, because we got some shutdown that happens. So we want you to see what happens if you don't know your identity. And so that if you're struggling right now, or things just seem to be so, you watch other people's life and they just sort of seems to like waltz through like the doors of life, and you're like, why can't I waltz like that? You can waltz like that. It's just knowing who you are. So Dr. Darlene, I know you're just chomping at the bit to share with us what's going on in our brain when we don't accept our identity.
Or when we believe the wrong one.
So there's two issues with identity, right? There's the imposter syndrome that a lot of folks deal with, right? So they actually know who they are and have revelation of it, but they don't feel worthy, or they don't feel like they're doing the right things, right? Because they're looking at externally what's going on instead of focusing on the internal work and really strengthening that identity, because that's what you have to do. When you know who you are, you absolutely have to strengthen it on a regular basis. The ladies that I coach, I tell them, read your identity statement every single day, first thing in the morning when you wake up. Yeah, I actually set up my my Google thing to say it to me in the morning.
That's awesome.
When I say good morning, right? And she says part of it to me, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And then I'm ready to go in my day, right? Even if the day before, maybe didn't go the way I wanted it to, right? And this is because it's strengthening those brain pathways. We have to constantly do that, or you will fall prey to imposter syndrome, which is as paralyzing actually as not even knowing who you are and trying to put on a false identity, right? Which is the other thing people do. I think, everyone in the world has an opinion about who you should be and how you should be that person, right?
True.
And sometimes when we don't know our identity, our brain is just seeking for that confirmation is actually what's happening, right? Because your brain always, it's looking for confirmations from things. And you can actually cause confusion in your brain by partnering with somebody that you're actually not aligned with, right? And this happens, and we see this too in the folks that have come through Roadmappers, right? If you've taken other courses and you're like, oh, this is who you have to be, and this is exactly how you have to be it. And if you've been through Roadmappers, you know that in now Launch School, it's not like that, right? It's about finding that gold that is within inside you, because otherwise you're going to have, the neuroscience term for this, and Coach Noelle, you'll know this, is cognitive dissonance, right? So you're being one thing, but deep down inside, your brain is saying, that's not who I am. And that's what actually causes a neurochemical imbalance in your brain. It drops your dopamine. It lowers your motivation. It actually, from a physical brain pathway standpoint, it decreases the activation in your identity centers in your brain, which is tied to your goal achievement, right? And it's tied to your vision and all these things that God has set up your brain ideally, okay? If you will discover your true identity. If you will reinforce your true identity, what you will find is that your brain will do a lot of the work for you to help you
Wow.
get from where you are to where God has shown you that you are to be. So
Whoa,
Wow.
that is a ton to unpack. Wow.
I have a lot more, but I'll stop there.
Woo. Okay, my takeaways from that are that my goal-driven center and my identity center are tied together. So if you're trying to achieve some things and goals and they're never not reaching those goals that you keep setting in your life, and you shift the goal and you make excuses and you feel bad, a naughty kitten, all these things, because really at the core of it was never accepting your identity or feeling like I don't have permission to be that identity. Somehow there's an imposter syndrome taking place, or there's some guilt or shame, which Noelle talked about this past week. Oh my gosh, this guys is all tying together, right? It's coming right back to the wheelhouse of identity and the chemicals that get like you can't win once those chemicals are released, right there. You can't win.
Yeah, it's tough. So what happens first? So actually the energy changes in your brain. So your brain frequencies start to change. So when we're connecting with our identity, it's really powerful. Your brain goes into a theta and an alpha state, which is kind of our slower rhythms, right? Most people don't experience these when they're awake, but what's interesting, guess who does? Children actually live in the theta state while awake a lot of the time. And that is what that's truly who you are, right? That allows you to connect with your imagination and your dreams and your visions, right? So the first thing that happens when we get this cognitive dissonance is our brain goes immediately into a beta state. So you are no longer even connected with who you are, and you can't even access that information because theta lets you access what's in your subconscious, non-conscious mind, right?
Oh my word.
So,
This is why she's called our fine china ladies.
Okay, wait, can you just repeat that? Because I think just that last statement about the theta.
yeah,
My brain is exploding
break
too
it
fast.
down. So your brain has a lot of different frequencies. There's some fast frequencies like the beta frequency I was talking about. There's some slower frequencies like theta. Beta and those fast frequencies are traditionally in your conscious alert state, right? Theta frequencies are usually when we're dreaming as adults, right? But children tap into it with imagination. The theta allows you to connect with your true identity, right? It also is your prayer frequency. So you can hear from God very clearly when you're tapping into this, right?
Wow.
But when you're either in imposter syndrome or you're putting on false masks, your brain immediately, it's unhappy, right? It's unhappy because it knows something is off, right? So it bounces to that beta high frequency state that's like a hamster on a wheel is what I call it, to explain it quite simply. And you can't even connect in that state with who you are, much less get anything accomplished. And then that causes that cascade of chemical changes and then structural changes in your brain. But good news is it can all be fixed because of neuroplasticity, which we absolutely love.
Good news is you don't have to stay in this frequency, but we can recognize that we've descended to it. And we are all of a sudden going into high, like figuring out mode and just, busy. Brain is like, go, go, go. You might start to feel what types of symptoms are this busy brain frequency, Dr. Darlene?
Yeah, so it looks like several things. For entrepreneurs, you may notice it as bouncing from one course to the next, right? Setting what you mentioned, this Coach Michelle, setting a goal for yourself, not accomplishing it, and then thinking, oh, that's the wrong goal. So then now just scrapping it. Even with your business, right? If you're starting a new business, I did this when I first started out as an entrepreneur, right? I went from okay, let's do neuroscience for make websites better, right? Let's do neuroscience for make your relationships better. All these things, right? I would bounce without sticking with any one thing, right? And the problem wasn't that I didn't have motivation to stick to something. I mean, for the love of God, I became a neurosurgeon. I know how to. The problem was that I wasn't in perfect alignment. And now that I have the alignment of health in the science world and faith combined together, it's like, yeah, I do work every day and every week, right? But it's just with ease, it's with grace, and it flows really easily. So that's what we want for every one of you that's listening today.
Oh, so good. So if you feel like your start-stop mode keeps coming, your I'm a failure mode keeps coming, I failed, so I got to try something new all the time. No, we got to just go back to that theta frequency. Okay, Lord, what is it that needs to be fixed? Let's calm back down into this theta frequency. And just does prayer kick us out of beta?
Actually, yes, it does.
Wow.
So prayer, intimacy with God is the key to identity, right? And from a brain science standpoint, it's perfect, right? The moment you close your eyes, first of all, when you close your eyes, you already get your brain into an alpha state. So it starts to slow down.
Yeah.
Okay, just the eye closure. And then when you open your mouth, right, and you pray to God, you can sing praises, right? You can give thanks. That also begins to get you. Why do you think it says enter his courts with thanksgiving, enter his gates with praise? He's like telling us what to do for our brain so that we can hear from him and speak to him in the way we are designed to do this, right?
Oh, so
as
good.
you do these things, your brain will help you get into this mode, and then you can have that intimate time with the Lord and really sit and listen to him and tell him how you're feeling. Tell him about those things and then listen for that response. And he will reveal to you more about your identity in that moment than you could figure out from taking any number of courses, I promise.
Oh, thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. Guys, you don't need one more course on
Mhm.
anything. You just need to get that identity rolling. And that is exactly what we did in the workshop yesterday. We just quieted ourselves and listened. It's so much can be solved from just walking through a listening exercise. I think you taught me that, Dr. Darlene, when we would jump in after these and go straight into Friday Fire. We would be like, bam, like we can just listen and soak and figure out so much rather than going to take all these courses that are just going to stuff our information with brain information. And then we feel even worse about ourselves because we don't know more things we didn't
Because
know.
that beta, that hamster wheel is like, yeah,
Right. More
Yeah,
info.
it doesn't want to stop.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
All right. So good news is, guys, if you're struggling during your day, if you're feeling like an imposter, like you can't do this, I've done this. Like all of a sudden, I kind of have meltdown city. I'm sitting at my desk, like nothing's working. I don't understand. Now I know I'm just going to stop and pray, like ask God and get me out of this theta place or this beta place where I just my brain chemicals are just going to not serve me anymore in that moment, and I need to calm myself down, dream again, hear again who I am, whose I am, and step into that platform. Like we said, step into your place of authority as the person God made you to be. So then what do we do from there, guys? What happens when we get ourselves out of theta or out of beta into theta, and we can hear from God about our identity? What does success look like? I guess is my question. Like, what does success look like? Because
Yeah,
we're hurt. Our hearts are hurt sometimes. Like if we don't believe in ourselves and other people don't believe in themselves, we got all this cognitive dissonance going on and we're hurt. Like we've stopped the bleeding, but how do we move forward in that identity?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. And what I really encourage folks to do, I teach through activations a lot of time. It's really a powerful way to bring the spiritual realm into the physical, which is what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to bring the identity you're created to be into reality so that you can do that and move forward in that without feeling any resistance to it. So in that intimate time with the Lord, I'll tell you what I do. So I go to a place, right, which will change from time to time. And right now it's a beautiful garden with the Lord, right? And so I will go there and I will listen to what he is saying, but I will also allow him to pour love into me, pour grace into me, whatever the thing is that I need for healing in that moment. And you can do this through whatever method works for you. For me, sometimes it's like a waterfall, right? I just get under a waterfall of grace, right? And then it really fills me and it heals those wounds, right? And then the Lord will often show you one little step that you can take in that identity that he is revealing to you. And it's usually very small, right? Because that's all that you really need. And then what happens is you come out of this meditation time with the Lord and you take that small step in your identity. All right. Then you've now activated your brain in the alpha frequency, which is the part that brings the spiritual into the physical. And you get that cycle of your brain helping you to accomplish those goals. You'll get insight about even the next step to take beyond that. So people sometimes think, oh, well, God has called me to a time of generosity in this season, right? And so I got to go give away all my stuff. I got to go do all the things, and every single moment I got to be constantly looking for opportunities. No, you do not. You need to do one tiny thing, right? And then you take that step, and then the light shows up in front of the path a little bit further, right? And then you see what is the next step to take, and you grow in strength, you grow in confidence, and as you continue to take those steps, you're strengthening those identity pathways. You're kicking imposter syndrome out the door, and you're even getting more clarity about who you are and who you are not.
And I think, tell me if I'm on the right track right now, Dr. Darlene. One thing that I have noticed is that this is the pattern in my journey. I would suspect it's similar for you guys too, that I will get a spiritual epiphany when I'm in that place of peace. Yep. In that theta stage. And then I go back to my life to walk it out, just like you're talking about. We get on the beta now, like, oh, okay, what do I do? What do I do? So the key to maybe the walkout is, as you're kind of practically implementing some of these things you get when you're in that spiritual place, is to keep going back to that spiritual place. Like when you hit the bump, when you start getting tired from all the, would you say that that's kind of the practical version of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So along those lines, like, I wish I had my phone right now, I could show you, but I literally, my screensaver right now is the beautiful garden, right? That I was just talking about. And so whenever I pick up my phone, because I do that when I'm stressed, I know that's a habit I have, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, it reminds me to go back there. But the other thing you can do too, which is equally and maybe even more powerful, is as you are in that place with the Lord, see yourself in your mind's eye taking that action step, right? Because now you've done it in your mind, you've done it one time, and it's always easier to do it, do something the second time, right? Well, it's just as powerful in your mind as it is in reality. So that's another little step you can take. But
yeah, that's good. That's really good. Yeah.
Woohoo! Well, you can
all kinds of goals today.
So good, because you see now, hopefully, ladies, the path to success. Like here, we just laid it out. Like if you are feeling imposter and feeling frustrated and not hitting goals, we come back to identity and we get into that theta rhythm, and then we get the one step, and then we become successful in the one step. Then we take another step, and we're successful in that step. And now, before you know it, you're a success instead of you're hitting your head against the wall, wondering what the heck went wrong and why is everybody else. God, it's so good. It's not true. It's just learning those steps to put those in place. And I think we all get there where we're like, what went wrong? Like every situation is different. And so it's almost like you forget to go back to the solution, because it feels like the problem is different. So if the problem is different, the solution must be different. But that's not true. Really, what you're saying is the same solution applies every single time. Slow it down, get back into theta, take a baby step with God, and see the success reclaimed. Right?
Absolutely.
Woohoo.
So good. Well, I hope this has served you guys. Woo, I'm sure going to take away some things. It might be a smoother week for my family too, huh? Such good stuff. Well, we want you to know that you're always welcome over in Atmosphere of Grace, our free group. We'll be launching, I believe, I'm going to speak prophetic this week. By Wednesday, that website will be up. We will have a brand new website. So we'll be excited to show you our new website, where you'll be able to find all of our affiliates and all of our programs and all of the courses that you can jump into. We also want you to know we are available we finally got this stuff together. We're available for speaking engagements. We will be having a link just for those of you who know that we would be a good fit for your group to come on in and speak virtually or in person. So we got a brand new link for that coming. So you'll find all these things on our website. Super excited to get all this stuff rolling.
Yeah.
all the stuff that's been in our hearts out for you guys to grab hold of in one easy spot. So that's all coming right ahead. And any last thoughts, ladies, that you want to share before we say goodbye for this edition of Biz Chat?
I think I just want to tell the ladies that are listening, if you are experiencing shame or that cognitive dissonance or any kind of like, if your identity feels anything less than what you would want, it's the enemy talking to you. The enemy has given you a false image of who you actually are. The journey of identity. I see a lot of clients get nervous about this because they're a little afraid of what they're going to find. You're going to find beauty for ashes, ladies. You're going to find that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that God has a perfect purpose he designed for you. So don't be afraid. Like if you feel some of that, well, this is fine for everyone else, not for me, like shut that down. It's a lie.
So good. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I love that. And I would just add on to that to be vulnerable with the Lord. Okay. Go to him and say, God, I hear these things, but I don't believe them in my heart and I don't know what to do. That is one of the most beautiful prayers that you can lay out before the Lord, and he will come, he will respond to that. Right. And the healing process will begin.
Yes. So good.
All right, ladies. Well, we are out of time. We thank everybody for joining us live. It's been fun to watch the comments roll in. We're live every third Friday of the month. Otherwise, you can catch us over on your favorite podcast platform. All right, ladies, have a great week and blessings on you from all of us here at Biz Chat.
Bye.